voices.
Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Eimear McKeown. Today's top stories. The government's response to the coronavirus is top of the agenda at today's cabinet meeting, which is underway. HSE support staff at University Hospital Waterford will be secretly balloted in the coming days on all-out industrial action. A gang who threatened to shoot cashiers during a Waterford post office raid have their prison sentences increased. And in sport, Henry de Bromhead has confirmed that the unbeaten Honeysuckle will go into the Mayor's Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival next week. The Cabinet is meeting this afternoon with the government response to the coronavirus top of the agenda. Our political correspondent Sean Defoe reports.
The Cabinet's getting a briefing from the Health Minister Simon Harris about the guidelines for mass gatherings and whether they should be allowed with the risk of spreading the coronavirus. This could impact events like the St Patrick's Day celebrations and has already seen the Six Nations game with Italy planned for this weekend called off. A special Cabinet subcommittee is going to be established to oversee the cross-government response to COVID-19, which will be chaired by the Taoiseach Cleo Varadkar. A stakeholder event is also going to be set up to brief trade unions, employer groups and a variety of other sectors on how they should respond to the coronavirus. The Cabinet is also due to discuss the reaction to last week's flooding in many parts of the country and the damage caused by Storm Jorge. Meanwhile, government formation talks have been continuing, with Fine Gael and the Greens meeting. The Social Democrats are meeting with Sinn Féin, while Fianna Fáil is holding talks with some independents today.
Waterford GP Austin Byrne says good hand hygiene is the key to preventing the virus spreading in the community.
If we exercise good hand hygiene, washing with plain soap, it doesn't need to be antibacterial, and using alcohol hand rubs in between times if available, although I understand a lot of those are sold out at present. Good hand hygiene prevents you from taking the particle from a surface and placing it to your lips, your nose or your eyes. So that will greatly reduce the chances of obtaining the virus.
HSE support staff at University Hospital Waterford will be secretly balloted in the coming days on all-out industrial action. Unite trade union members, which include porters, healthcare assistants and catering staff, voted in favour of the secret ballot last night. The HSE is seeking High Court injunctions against union members who are joining cleaning staff at UHW in their strike action. Cleaners have been on strike since last Tuesday in a row over changes to their working conditions without consultation. Unite Regional Officer Tony Kelly told Damien Tiernan on Dayshoot today that the HSE members will be balloted as soon as possible.
We're getting the ballot paper done up now. This was only yesterday evening.
Okay.
And I'll have to get the ballot paper proofed by our own people.
So the next 48 hours probably you'll have the ballot papers ready?
Oh yeah.
And then they'll be balloted secretly. They'll all have to be sent to their homes, I presume, will they?
Well, we're discussing whether we'll do a workplace ballot or a postal ballot.
He says a number of catering staff left the union yesterday.
From what I know, is about 35. The reason they gave was that something happened on the gate. They were saying it's nothing to do with Unite Union, it's nothing to do with me. But I mean, look, why didn't they come and talk to me in relation to what happened on the gate?
And have you spoken to a shop steward within the catering department about this?
Yes, I've spoken to the two shop stewards.
And are they still members of Unite, or have they left as well?
Yes, they've left, yeah.
A gang found carrying in a hole in Waterford after threatening to shoot two female cashiers during the hold-up of a post office have been given increased prison sentences following an appeal by prosecutors. WLR's Sinead Ahern reports.
The four men aged in their 30s and 40s, Alan Wall, Michael Tynan and Conor O'Connor, all of no fixed abode, as well as Barry Walsh from Clonee in Dublin, pleaded guilty to robbery at the Clayboy post office in Waterford on May 3rd, 2018. They each also pleaded guilty to possession of a sawn-off shotgun on the same occasion. Waterford Circuit Criminal Court had heard that three men entered the post office wearing balaclavas, brandishing a sawn-off shotgun and two hammers before making off with approximately €45,000 in cash. Wall and Tynan were sentenced to 5 years imprisonment, with the final 18 months suspended, while Walsh and O'Connor were sentenced to 6 years imprisonment, with the final 12 months suspended. Each of their sentences were deemed unduly lenient following an appeal by the Director of Public Prosecutions. Wall was resentenced to 7 years imprisonment, Walsh to 7.5 years, O'Connor to 8 years and Tynan to 7 years and 3 months by the Court of Appeal yesterday. Counsel for the DPP pointed to a number of aggravating factors factors. These were the extreme serious and violent nature of the robbery, the violence used and threatened against those present, the level of planning and premeditation, the traumatic effect of the robbery, the attempted destruction of the sawn-off shotgun, the fact a firearm was used and the impact on the wider community, given the robbery was at a post office at the centre of the local community.
A teenager's been arrested and firearms and ammunition seized after shots were fired outside a house in County Tipperary. It happened at 10:30 last night in Mulnahone village. A number of people were in the house at the time, but nobody was injured. The teenager is being questioned at Clonmel Garda Station. An investigation is underway after a teenage boy was stabbed during an altercation in Leopardstown in Dublin last night. It happened at around 10 p.m. at the Glencairn Lewis stop. The victim was approached by a group of males before being injured by one of them. Peter O'Brien is a local Labour councillor.
One teen that was stabbed, but it's the second incident the last few months at the same Lewis stop. So it's a huge concern of the increased antisocial behaviour along the Lewis line. And it's not just at Glencairn, it goes as far as Dundrum.
130 students from 12 schools in Waterford City and County are competing in the final of the Waterford Student Enterprise Awards today. 46 businesses are on display at the Tower Hotel and the overall winner will be announced this afternoon. The competition is coordinated by the local enterprise office Waterford and the winner will represent Waterford at the national finals on May 1st in Croke Park. Maria Dagg, a teacher at Abbey Community College, says it's great for the students to run their own enterprises.
The students are fantastic. They come up with wonderful ideas. It's very different to the norm. I'm a business and accounting teacher and the course is very structured, whereas with the mini company they get to go off, do a little bit of research and come up with something very innovative and unique. So it's a wonderful experience for them. You know, they're able to incorporate what they've learned at junior cert or junior cycle and then, you know, bring it forward to their mini company.
Sarah Rogers, a student at Ard School Tramore, explains her business.
Handmade perfumes and colognes, and I'm also starting moisturisers. So my perfumes are kind of made of essential oils, which are always really good for you. They're good for the skin. So that's why I kind of had an idea, because most brands, they kind of just say parfum, so you don't really know what's going into them. So my perfumes, you know what's going into them, you know. So I think that's kind of good to kind of be one with your customer, so they know what you're doing.
Britain's Duke and Duchess of Cambridge will meet President Michael D. Higgins at Oras an Uachtaráin this afternoon to kick off their royal visit. It's William and Kate's first official visit here and they'll be taking in Dublin, Kildare, Meath and Galway over the next 3 days.
WLR Sport.
With thanks to the Waterford Viking Marathon. Register now at waterfordvikingmarathon.com.
Local horse trainer Henry de Bromhead has confirmed that the unbeaten Honeysuckle will go in the Mare's Hurdle at the Cheltenham Festival next week. The Irish champion hurdle winner had also been entered in the Unibet champion hurdle. De Bromhead says it was a tough decision between the races, but he feels the 6-year-old is in great form. Japan's Olympics minister says they have the option of postponing this summer's Tokyo Olympics until later in the year amid concerns that the coronavirus could disrupt the Games. Saiko Hashimoto says their contract with the IOC allows for a postponement as long as they're rescheduled before the end of 2020. Galtier are still basking in glory after Sunday's All-Ireland Intermediate Championship success at GAHQ. A dramatic late goal from substitute Una Jackman handed the Waterford champions a 113 to 13 points victory over Offaly outfit St Rynagh's in a dramatic decider at Croke Park. Patricia Jackman nailed a late free to secure the victory as Galtier avenged last year's heartbreaking defeat at the same stage. Una Jackman was keen to make a strong impact after performing well in recent challenge matches.
We played even the Kilkenny Intermediates there 2 weeks ago and came on in that one and scored a couple of points. So I kind of felt good coming into it that if they needed me that I was able to come on and be in quite good form and even through the training games that we played, you're playing against some of the best forwards backs in the country when you're playing a club, it's unbelievable. Just an unreal feeling.
Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp is expected to rotate his team for tonight's trip to Chelsea in the last 16 of the FA Cup. The Premier League leaders lost at Watford in the top flight at the weekend, while Chelsea drew at Bournemouth. Liverpool legend Phil Thompson thinks Chelsea manager Frank Lampard will also make changes for the match at Stamford Bridge.
He's as much needing points in the Premier League to make sure they have Champions League football next year. With Liverpool, though, I really think we'll have a decent team. I don't think he'll put out the first team. But one of my biggest things is to have the cavalry on the bench if things are going wrong and you need a little bit of help.
Elsewhere in the FA Cup tonight, Newcastle United are away to Championship table toppers West Brom, and Sheffield United visit Reading. The winners of this evening's games will join Arsenal in the quarter-finals. Sports news on WLR is thanks to WaterfordVikingMarathon.com.